Hello everyone. I hope you are all doing very well. Welcome to SkholarIAS. I am Shubhangi Sharma, your faculty for History and Art and Culture. And students, today is a very important session. Today we are going to talk about the trajectory, the strategy, the syllabus pertaining to the Art and Culture section of Prelims and GS1. Now, when we talk about history, history has quite a well-defined syllabus when it comes to UPSC. But in the art and culture domain, students tend to get a lot of confused with respect to what we should study and what we should leave. So that is why students, this particular session will be very helpful for you. Stay tuned. We are going to discuss today about the art and culture and how to study for it with respect to the prelims and mains examination. Let's begin, students. All right. So first of all, students, in this particular lecture, in this particular video, we are going to talk about some important things like we have done in our previous video. That is, what are the questions that are asked in the prelims and GS1 examination, or how many questions are asked with respect to the prelims and mains examination with respect to art and culture. Next, students, we are going to talk about the detailed syllabus that are the topics which are covered as a part of your mains and prelims examination. Also, students, we are going to stick to a very minimal book list. The idea here is to understand the trajectory of art and culture questions that have been asked in the previous year papers instead of just mugging up the entire culture that our country has, which is very vast. So we are going to do a strategic planning on the topics that are recurrent, and we should prepare those only. Then students, afterwards, we are going to discuss about a strong strategy that will help us in cracking these two examinations. Now, students, let us first talk about the number of questions that are asked with respect to art and culture in the prelims examination. Having said that, students, in 2020, there were 4 questions that had come from the art and culture section. Now, herein, students, the idea is that art and culture is quite mixed with your ancient and medieval syllabus of history. And that is why people tend to give more questions to art and culture, or probably put that in the history bar. So roundabout, there are 4 questions that had come directly from the art and culture segment. Then students, in 2019, there were 3 questions. In 2018, there were 7 questions. And in 2017, there were 5 questions. So यहाँ पे what we understand is that the weightage of art and culture is something which is not fixed. That is why we have to prepare for it thoroughly, because in some years we have seen many questions coming from this particular domain, and that is why we cannot leave this particular section. Now, students, with respect to the GS1 mains paper, there is an entire section that is dedicated to the art and culture portion, wherein in 2019 we had 1 question, in 18 3, in 17 1, and in 2016 2 questions pertaining to the art and culture in GS1 mains examination. Now, students, most of these questions are pertaining to the art and architecture topic. However, there are sometimes different questions, particularly in the prelims examination, which makes it the course a little bit widened up, and that is why we need to discuss all the aspects of these topics in detail. Now, students, let's understand that what is the proper syllabus of art and culture. Now, in your entire syllabus that is given forward by UPSC, only this is mentioned with respect to the art and culture syllabus. That is, Indian culture covers the salient features of literature, art forms, architecture from the ancient and modern times. However, students, nothing else is given apart from this. So, seeing the trends from previous year questions, previous year papers, we have analyzed the most important topics that might come up in your prelims and mains examination. Now, under that, students, we can categorize them into as given in the particular UPSC syllabus, that is literature, art form, and architecture. And under that, students, Indian languages and literature is a very important part for your art and culture. In that, students, we have to focus on the ancient and medieval languages and literature along with the regional literature. तो आप देख सकते हैं जैसे एंशियंट इंडिया के अंदर बहुत सारे इंपॉर्टेंट ऑथर्स थे, डिफरेंट कोर्ट पोएट्स थे, जैसे कि कालिदास था, पाणिनि था जिन्होंने ग्रामर के ऊपर एक इंपॉर्टेंट बुक लिखी थी। तो इस तरह की जो लैंग्वेज लिटरेचर होती है वो हमारे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती है, पर्टिकुलरली द संस्कृत लिटरेचर इन द एंशियंट इंडियन पीरियड. Then once we come to the medieval Indian period, we see a lot of texts have been generated both during the Delhi Sultanate period and during the Mughal times. And these are very important because we do get questions wherein we are asked the names of the authors or the key contents of any particular book that was written in the ancient or medieval period. Apart from that, students, even regional literature is something that is garnering attention of the UPSC examiners who are making a lot of questions from regional literature as well. So this is something which is a part of the dynamic course of art and culture, and we need to cover that as well. What are the sources to cover these? We will cover that in the next slide. Apart from that, students, another important topic for art and culture is going to be the Indian schools of philosophy. Now, these schools include the Nyaya school, the Vaisheshik school, etc. So these schools, who started these schools, what were the key ideologies of these schools of philosophy are something that we need to keep in our minds. In previous years, we have encountered a lot of questions which are directly from the Indian schools of philosophy. Apart from that, students, there are some other important topics such as the scientific developments in India. Now, we all know in ancient Indian period particularly, we had a lot of sages who were involved in developing subjects such as mathematics. Mainly there was Aryabhat. Then there were another important scientists such as Vara, Mira, etc. So what were the contributions of these scientists? And the subjects that had developed in the ancient and medieval period are something that holds importance with respect to the art and culture section of prelims in GS1 paper. Now, students, the next important topic includes the Indian paintings. Indian paintings, every year you will find one question from Indian paintings, definitely. Now, it may pertain to the cave paintings of the ancient Indian period. It may pertain to the medieval paintings, particularly the Mughal period, wherein we see that Jahangir or Akbar were very fond of getting different type of paintings done. So these are some questions, some recurrent themes that have been coming. So cave paintings of the ancient period or the Mughal miniature paintings. And after that, the most important section, that is the regional schools of paintings. So students, few years back, we had got one question, that is Bani Thani is an art form belonging to which school? So these questions are the part of the regional schools of painting that are again covered in certain routine books, of which we will talk in the next slide. Apart from that, students, another important topic that forms a part of the art and culture syllabus includes the Indian sculptures. So Indian sculptures basically includes the ancient sculptures. Let's say we start from the Indus Valley civilization. So we know that there was very important statue of dancing girl, and that is one important sculpture for which we need to understand the details, the method with which these sculptures are created, what are the techniques, what are the materials that are used in creating such kind of sculptures, and who are the people who are making such kind of sculptures. So these are certain things that need to be taken care of while studying about Indian sculptures. Also, students, when we come to the early medieval times particularly, the Chol sculptures are very important. They were famous for their bronze sculptures. So the techniques, the material of construction, and the rulers under which certain important sculptures were made are the aspects that need to be focused while studying about art and culture. Then students, next important topic is the Indian music. Every year, every alternate year, we get questions on Indian music, wherein there are certain defined topics such as the Hindustani classical music of North India, or the Carnatic music of South India, or the folk musical traditions in India. However, students, in recent examinations of UPSC, the themes of asking questions pertaining to art and culture has changed. It has become more dynamic. आजकल हमारे को जो ज्यादातर क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं स्टूडेंट्स, वो थोड़े डायनामिक हैं, करंट से रिलेटेड हैं, और इसीलिए हमें जो हमारा माइंडसेट है और स्ट्रैटेजी है उसको थोड़ा सा चेंज करना पड़ेगा. आजकल म्यूजिक पर्टेनिंग इंपॉर्टेंट पर्सनालिटीज के ऊपर क्वेश्चन आ रहे हैं। जैसे कि आप देखेंगे 2018 और 19 में म्यूजिक से रिलेटेड दो इंपॉर्टेंट पर्सनालिटीज पे क्वेश्चन आए थे। एक थे अनमाचार्य और एक थे तानसेन। अब ये जो दोनों पर्सनालिटीज हैं ये रूटीन बुक्स में कम कवर होते हैं, ये ज्यादा करंट का पार्ट है। अब इन्हें करंट से कैसे प्रिपेयर करना है ये हम लोग आगे सीखेंगे। Now, students, apart from Indian music, another important part of art and culture are the Indian dance forms. So we know India as a land wherein we have many types of dance forms that are prevalent. Under that, students, certain dance forms are categorized as classical, and then we also have regional dance forms. So what are these dance forms? What are the states to which these dance forms belong? What are the key features associated with these dance forms? What are the themes that are followed, whether they are dancing, performing on any mythological episode, or are they narrating any social event? So the themes that are covered as a part of these dance forms are some of the aspects that you need to cover while tackling with this particular topic. Then students, we have theater forms and puppetry. So there are multifarious theaters and puppetry forms that are prevailing in our country, and important details pertaining to these are also covered in routine textbooks, which we are going to talk about. Then students, of course, there are martial arts and the dances in India. Now students, UPSC has been keen on asking questions pertaining to martial art forms, and martial art forms is something that comes every alternate year. So there are certain martial art forms. There are 10 or 15 important martial art forms that keep on coming again and again. So these are something that you need to go about. Again, with respect to the martial art forms, all the topics that I've told you pertaining to Indian dance form are something that need to be followed. Then students, we have the national and regional fairs and festivals. Now, this is something you might see these being covered in the routine textbooks, but you need to follow your newspaper religiously because UPSC tends to ask those information that is covered in the important newspapers such as The Hindu and the Indian Express. So we see a lot of questions that are coming from national and regional festivals, and that is why they are of very importance for us in both of these examinations. Then students, we have the most important topic, that is the geographical indicators. We know that there is a GI tag that is accorded by our country to certain craft forms or the art forms or even for food. And that is why all these geographical indicators are very important. In fact, a lot of questions have been asked in previous years pertaining to these geographical indicators. Then, of course, students, the most important part or the biggest part with respect to art and culture is the architecture part. Now, the best part here, students, is that architecture is overlapping with a lot of course of the ancient and medieval Indian history. सबसे अच्छी बात आर्ट एंड कल्चर की ये ही है कि आर्ट एंड कल्चर का बहुत सारा पोर्शन आप जब हिस्ट्री प्रिपेयर करेंगे प्रीलिम्स और GS1 के लिए, तो उसी में आपका आर्ट एंड कल्चर का पार्ट प्रिपेयर हो जाएगा। कुछ एक्स्ट्रा टॉपिक्स हैं जो हमने यहाँ पे हाईलाइट किए हैं, जो हमें अलग से पढ़ने पड़ेंगे। अब आर्किटेक्चर हमें पता है, whenever we start studying about ancient India, naturally whenever we are talking about any particular dynasty, we do talk about what are the important monuments that they have created. Apart from that, students, in architecture, the most important themes that we need to focus upon include the temples, the monuments that are created by important dynasties, then the cities. By cities, students, I mean, let's say you can get questions pertaining to the town planning of Harappa or the town planning of Mohenjo-daro, or in fact, sometimes we get questions on even the contemporary cities, like how Delhi was formed under the medieval period or during the colonial period. So these are some aspects, students, that we need to cater when we are talking about the architecture section of art and culture. Now, students, when we are talking about architecture, one of the most important thing, I have put it down separately. ये बहुत important है, material of construction के ऊपर बहुत सारे सवाल बनाए जाते हैं कि ये मार्बल से बनाया था, ये रेड सैंडस्टोन से बनाया था, ये किस चीज से बनाई गई थी, कोई भी पर्टिकुलर मॉन्यूमेंट, and that is why this is very important. I'm sorry. One second. All right. Sorry, I'm cold today. Yes. So students, with this, we have completed our syllabus on art and culture. Now we are going to move forward and talk about the book list that is important for prelims and GS1 paper. Now students, like in our previous video, I had told you that the book list need to be divided into 3 categories. That is your foundation books, then you have value added material, and you have advanced books. So students, with respect to art and culture, the happy news is that we have certain books in the NCERT segment that are catering with the syllabus of art and culture. Under that, students, we have the class 11th NCERT, that is an introduction to Indian art, and it looks something like this. Apart from the students, another very, very important source for us with respect to art and culture is the NIOS material. Now, this NIOS is basically the National Institute of Open Schooling. And students, under that, if you will search for Indian culture and heritage, then you will get a drop-down list of a lot of chapters that are dealing with all these topics that we had discussed as a part of our discussion. So that is why this particular material is going to be very important when you are preparing for the art and culture section. Next, students, when we talk about the advanced books, there is this particular book known as CCRT, and it publishes an art and culture supplement. So CCRT is basically a government website, and it is dealing with all the art and cultural forms of India. And that is why the supplements that are released by CCRT are very important for us. So you can directly go through them. However, the material here is much more elaborate, so you can keep it in the advanced category. Then students, of course, we have Nitin Singhania's book. Nitin Singhania's book is very important, and it covers kind of all the segments that are included in Indian art and culture. It is quite a bulky or comprehensive book, but I would suggest that you do not leave this particular book. It contains a lot of routine questions. Sometimes we do get a lot of dynamic questions, but the routine questions are something that will be covered in Nitin Singhania, and that is why you have to go through this book. तो पहले आप NCERT से स्टार्ट करिए, NCERT करिए, NIOS का मटेरियल करिए, छोटा छोटा मटेरियल है, इजी मटेरियल है, अच्छे से समझ में आ जाएगा. उसके बाद में आप एडवांस बुक पे जाइए, नितिन सिंघानिया को कवर टू कवर पढ़िए, पेज बाय पेज पढ़िए, ये आपके लिए बहुत हेल्पफुल रहेगी. Now students, we are going to talk about the value added material. Value added material जो होगा हमारे लिए वो हिस्ट्री से थोड़ा अलग होगा आर्ट एंड कल्चर के लिए. अब जो आर्ट एंड कल्चर का वैल्यू एडेड मटेरियल होगा वो हिस्ट्री से अलग होगा, क्योंकि इसमें हमें हमारा न्यूज़पेपर कवर करना है. न्यूज़पेपर इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अस विद रिस्पेक्ट टू दी आर्ट एंड कल्चर पोर्शन, क्योंकि स्टूडेंट्स मैंने आपको बताया कि 2017 से ट्रेंड बदल चुका है. ट्रेंड बदलने का मतलब ये है कि डायनामिक क्वेश्चंस आने लगे हैं आर्ट एंड कल्चर के अंदर. वी गेट अ लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस दैट आर डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम द हिंदू न्यूज़पेपर, एंड दैट इज व्हाई वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट वैल्यू एडेड मटेरियल फॉर अस विद रिस्पेक्ट टू आर्ट एंड कल्चर विल बी द हिंदू. अब इसके अंदर स्टूडेंट्स जो संडे की मैगजीन होती है, ये अलग से एक सेगमेंट आता है संडे मैगजीन का. इसके अंदर आप देखेंगे आर्ट एंड कल्चर से रिलेटेड बहुत सारे टॉपिक्स कवर होते हैं. जैसे कि स्टूडेंट्स, एक ये पर्टिकुलर ऑथर हैं रना सफवी, ये बहुत अच्छे आर्टिकल्स लिखती हैं, और इनके जो आर्टिकल्स होते हैं वो रीजनल आर्किटेक्चर या फिर अननोन मॉन्यूमेंट्स के ऊपर बेस्ड होते हैं, और इनके जो आर्टिकल्स है उनसे यूपीएससी ने कई बार क्वेश्चंस पूछे भी हैं. तो जो हमारी संडे मैगजीन होती है उसके अंदर आर्ट एंड कल्चर के टॉपिक्स बहुत अच्छे से कवर होते हैं. तो आप हर संडे बैठ के अपने 15 से 20 मिनट्स द हिंदू की संडे मैगजीन को जरूर दीजिए. Apart from the students, obviously you have the SkholarIAS video lectures and content, and then you have SkholarIAS current affairs which are available for free, wherein we are putting out those important regional festivals or any important article pertaining to art and culture, and that is curated in this particular content of current affairs, and it is available for free. So please go check out our website and you will be able to access this particular material very quickly. ना स्टूडेंट्स, अभी तक हमने ये समझा है कि सिलेबस क्या है आर्ट एंड कल्चर का. GS1 और प्रीलिम्स के लिए सिलेबस सेम है. कितने क्वेश्चंस आ चुके हैं, कितने क्वेश्चंस आने की संभावना होती है, ये सारी बातें हम अभी तक समझ चुके हैं. और उन सारी बातों का जो निष्कर्ष है, the resultant is that you cannot leave the preparation with respect to art and culture. Now students, till now I had told you that why the Hindu is very important for us with respect to the dynamic portions preparation of art and culture. Now I'm going to give you certain examples with respect to that. Now students, in 2018 we had encountered a question which was talking about some unknown or lesser known monuments. That is something that is not covered in the routine books. Now these included the Bada Imambara and the Rumi Darwaza, and the students were boggling their mind that where do these questions come from. So students, as I have told you, the Sunday magazine is something that covers such kind of articles. This article was directly written by Rana Safvi, and both these statements were covered in her article. This particular article was published as a part of Sunday magazine on the 16th or 17th of September in 2017. And this was something that was directly asked in UPSC in 2018. And that is why students, I would like to tell you that these particular articles of the Hindu are very important. Direct questions are coming from them. Apart from the students, I will also tell you, so with respect to the regional festivals, in 2018, we had encountered one particular question that was talking about festivals such as Chhap Charkut festival, etc. Now, whenever we open our The Hindu newspaper, we get these small headlines, small article coverages on the corners of the pages. Generally, you will find the discussion of regional festivals in these small pages, in these small articles, and you have to make note of that. If you do not want to do that, please go to our website and the content is already curated for you. But herein, I would like to point out that questions on regional festivals are being asked in UPSC as as latest as in 2018, and that is why we need to cover them. Then students, with respect to even the more recurrent topics such as music, I had told you that these days UPSC is not asking the basic questions such as what are the key features of Hindustani classical music or what are the key features of Carnatic music. Rather, they are focusing on important personalities that are associated with Indian music. Having said that, students, in 2019, we had encountered a question that was pertaining to Mia Tansen. Now, Tansen is something which is not covered in routine books. Okay. And that is why, again, you have to rely on the Hindu newspaper, particularly the Sunday magazine, wherein the articles are coming directly or the questions are coming directly from these articles. अब स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ पे ये है, बहुत सारे आर्टिकल्स आते हैं, बहुत ये होता है कि इस आर्टिकल को पढ़े या ना पढ़े, इतना बड़ा आर्टिकल इसको कैसे समझे. तो स्टूडेंट्स, इसके अंदर मैं आपको एक अच्छी सलाह देना चाहूंगी, वो ये है कि आप आर्टिकल के ऑथर का नाम पढ़ लीजिए. अगर वो जो ऑथर हैं वो कोई बहुत बड़े फेमस हिस्टोरियन है या बहुत बड़े हिस्ट्री के प्रोफेसर हैं किसी बड़ी यूनिवर्सिटी में, या फिर अगर वो कोई मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कल्चर या आर्ट एंड कल्चर से रिलेटेड कोई बड़ी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चला रहे हैं, तो उनके आर्टिकल्स को यूपीएससी ज्यादा वेटेज देती है. उनके आर्टिकल्स में से क्वेश्चन आने की पॉसिबिलिटी, चांसेस दोनों ज्यादा होते हैं. So that is how you are going to segregate with the already very short information pertaining to art and culture in the Hindu newspaper. So students, apart from this, another important point that I'm going to tell you is that all the art and culture topics, along with the current affairs of art and cultures topics and the NCRTs, are something that are covered by SkholarIAS in their NCRT course and of course in their full course. Now students, herein I would like to tell you that we have also decreased the prices, so you can register ASAP to get the best material in town. And students, herein we have given a very comprehensive analysis of videos, notes, and we have live sessions to solve your doubts. So a lot of effort has been done to create and curate the best material for you guys. So we are hoping to see you join these course very soon. Now students, with this, I have completed the discussion on art and culture from my side. Please put forward any of your questions if you have. Okay, no questions? All right. Hello. Ma'am, is there any comprehensive course on art and culture going to come in next few days? Okay, Gaurav, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. And yes, as I have just told you, we are actually creating a very good, beautifully curated course for you guys with respect to art and culture. I will be taking up all the lectures for you, and I will be taking out solving sessions with respect to the art and culture portion. And you can rely on our material. You can go to our website and you will see the current affairs, which are absolutely free of cost. And if you want to go, you should go for the full course particularly, because herein we are going to talk about all the aspects of art and culture, which will also include the NCERTs. So Nikhil is asking, good evening, ma'am. Please tell us books of ancient medieval, book of ancient medieval books of old NCERT. I'm sorry. Okay, so Nikhil, I'm assuming what you're asking is that you want to know about the important books pertaining to the ancient and medieval period. So I have covered the same in my previous lecture. And that was also a live session on SkholarIAS. You can go and visit that video. In that, I have discussed at length about all the material or all the important books that you will be requiring for the ancient and medieval time period for prelims and mains examination. Can we access NCERT course under UPSC full course pre and mains? Of course you can. All the NCERT lectures are also covered in the full course. So it will be a much more better idea to go for the full course. The prices have also been reduced. All the faculties will always be available for you. There are doubt solving sessions. There are live sessions. So you will be getting a comprehensive coverage of all the topics. Come up with more questions. All right, students. So this is the major discussion on art and culture. I would again like to give you a quick recap. Meanwhile, anybody wants to ask any more questions. Art and culture जो हमारे लिए है, art and culture क्या है कि लोग बहुत छोड़ देते हैं art and culture को, कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं कि इसमें क्या पढ़े और क्या नहीं पढ़े. लेकिन art and culture को नहीं छोड़ना है. आर्ट एंड कल्चर को इसलिए नहीं छोड़ना है क्योंकि पहली बात तो आधे से ज्यादा कोर्स एंशिएंट और मिडिवल पढ़ते हुए कवर हो जाएगा. Half of your course will be covered as a part of ancient and medieval course itself. Apart from that, students, there are hardly 4 or 5 topics that you need to prepare thoroughly in order to get at least 2 to 3 questions correct in your prelims examination for art and culture. And 3 questions is something that is going to make a very big difference. And that is why I would like you to go through all of these sources. It is going to be very, very helpful. And you need not leave art and culture portion because it is also dragged in the mains examination. So you can't escape it. How to study from so many courses. Okay. Hi, Anamika. Okay, we are offering 2 courses as of now, wherein if you are a beginner and you are giving the examination for the first time, then you can opt for the NCERT course first, as it is going to give you a detailed exam analysis of all the aspects that are covered in UPSC. So it is for the basic understanding. However, we have curated another full course, that is the UPSC full course, which includes all the pre and main related data, pre and main related content, and this is more comprehensive. So if you want to start your entire preparation in one go, I would suggest that you should go for the full course. Okay, ma'am, course will be in bilingual or in English only. Okay, so Gaurav, I understand that our country has many languages and we are all bilingual in some sorts. So I try my best to keep a balance between English and Hindi for the comfort of students. And most of the lectures are somehow in a 60-40 ratio, wherein most of it is going to be in English. But whenever there are very important points that needs to be reinstated, then I talk about them in Hindi. Good evening. Okay, Mohammed is asking, good evening, ma'am. Is reading Nitin Singhania sir's handwritten notes enough? Okay, good question, Mohammed. So don't skip the NCERT of class 11th before starting Nitin Singhania. Nitin Singhania, as I've already told you, you have to read that cover from cover. Okay, but first start from the class 11's NCRT. I will just show you the picture of class 11's NCRT. So this is the class 11's NCRT that you need to cover. Okay, and after that you can go to Nitin Singhania. This is one of the best books that is available in the market. Also, I would like you to follow this particular website of CCRT as it gives important updates pertaining to art and culture. Okay, Anamika is asking for pointers for answer writing. Thank you, Anamika, for this particular question. So we will be coming up with such kind of value-added videos. But at the moment, I would suggest that if you're targeting the mains examination, please register for this particular course. Herein, we are taking live sessions with respect to such kind of topics. We are going to help you in writing the answers, particularly in history, which is quite difficult. Okay, ma'am, tell us about medieval India, Satish Chandra, and ancient India, R.S. Sharma. Should we go for it? Okay, hi Nikhil, first of all. So this this is a separate video which I had created last week, and it is pertaining to all the sources of the history section of your prelims and mains examination. And you can go and check out that video. Under that, I have discussed in details about what all books should be used with respect to your history preparation of prelims and mains. So all the discussion on ancient India and medieval India is covered there. Ask more questions, students. Okay, I'm assuming this is it. It was a very short session. If you want to ask any more questions, please feel free. Okay, so students, I'm assuming all your questions have been answered. And thank you so much for joining me in this particular session. Students, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tap the bell icon. I am going to be live on Saturday also, wherein I will be giving up a new lecture on class 8's NCRT. I will be covering one entire chapter on Saturday. So stay tuned for that and press the bell icon so that you can be notified once the video is live. Thank you so much. If you like our videos, please go to our website, visit our app, and of course, subscribe to our